Hey everyone, welcome to Appalachian Farmstead. So, uh, this video, I don't really do a lot of these videos, but the last video we were doing hay, and to be honest with you, whoa, I'm in the sun there. Sorry about that. Uh, doing the hay over 4 days. It was like right at 100 degrees with the humidity and everything. I honestly, the wife and I, we've taken it down a notch. Taking it like we haven't done. We have to do our chores. You have to get up every day and take care of the animals. But as far as projects go, we kind of just been like taking a break. Although I don't look like it, I'm in a mess. I actually was working on this guy during hay. The alternator went out on it, and it had a broken radiator from before. So, I mean, you could run it with the broken radiator, but the problem was I just killed the alternator because the alternator was constantly trying to run the fan. So, I had to order parts for that. They came in. The alternator, or the radiator, took forever to get here. FedEx took its own good time getting it here. But I just put that all together today, so it's running good. As soon as I started it up, I had a hydraulic line on the back shooting everywhere, I have a plow for that. You can see the hydraulic lines up front. So I just disconnected that whole system and hooked the bed back up and put fluid back in it. It's running good now. So what's going on with the farm today or this week? We've been feeding. We still have a little bit of hay left from that trailer. I did have to mow the Airbnb because we have guests checking in for a month, so I had to get that done. So they got lots of grass to eat. But I've been out here. So as you know, I build these timber frame rabbit hutches, and then I post them online for sale. And I have somebody that wants one. They're coming tomorrow just to look at it in person before he drops $500, which is fine. But I don't have any logs. So I've been out here, and I guess this is part of, holy smokes, creeping through the sun there, creeping through the trees. Part of homesteading is, especially if you have wood, if you have woods like I do, 3/4 of my property is trees. You have to do some kind of forest management. You come out here and you look at these beautiful trees, and they're like, oh, how can I cut that tree down? Well, a storm comes through and wipes a couple of them out, and you find out that, well, I have red rot, is what the deduction is. There, that's a little better, right? It's been raining off and on here all day, thunder, lightning. Yeah, in fact, I can just show you that tree right there. Look at it. It's all rotted. Stuff falling out of it. Woodpecker holes all through it. So, and then there's a cherry right there. So, I'm going to be harvesting these trees. Get out of here, man. Leave me alone. I know I stink, but geez. So I'm going to be harvesting these trees because I'm pretty sure this guy's going to get this, and he wants me to build something else for him. So, yeah. So, if you work out in the world, it's pretty hard to say, you know what, I had a rough couple days. I can take a break, still kind of coast along, do what you got to do, but it's pretty nice being your own guy, right? And geez, what is that? And you know, be able to do that. And I think that's why a lot of people are starting to do the homesteading thing, is they don't have to like go get up at, like clockwork and be out there serving somebody else. I mean, there's people that, I'm not putting anybody down for doing that, but it's very stressful. Very stressful. A long time ago, this is before I was married to Carrie. She was working for a phone book company. I won't say who, but she got diagnosed with MS, and she went to the doctor, and they gave her this. She would go once a month and get this injection. She had to sign a waiver that if she died, nobody could sue. It was like it took an hour for an IV bag to be put in her, and they were charging a company that she was working for her insurance $30,000 a month for this one injection. Well, guess what that company did? They fired her. They brought her in. They brought somebody in, told her to they were going to bring her helper in. She needed to train them so that they could take some of the workload off of her. She trained him. As soon as he could do the job, they let her go. So that's what these corporations think of you. You're just, well, you know what I'm talking about. So anyways, yeah, so then since she lost her insurance, they wouldn't give that to her anymore. And then her doctor's like, hey, I have this experimental drug. It's free to you. I'll ship it to you, and you just take an injection, and that's all you have to do. And then just do your normal checkups. Well, those injections turned her into the meanest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I finally confronted her about it, and she said, when I take that injection, which she took them like never in front of me, and I could tell within 30 minutes that she had taken it because she was just mean as a snake. And I finally confronted her, and she was like, I could kill you, not even think twice about it after I take that shot. That's scary. That is super scary. And so I was like, well, that ain't normal. So she's confronted her doctor, and she's like, I can't take this anymore. It's like, I could kill somebody. And he says, if you stop taking that medicine, then you are never allowed in my office again. I don't ever want to see you again. And that was so we never went back. I mean, what a scumbag. What a scumbag. He didn't care, because he guaranteed that son of a bitch was getting a kickback from the pharmaceutical company. So anyways, what I'm trying to say here is that's why we started homesteading. Because we did our research, and we found out that people with MS were basically either putting it in remission or curing themselves completely by just doing whole foods. So we started with chickens, and then we had a couple meat birds, and we just went out of control after that. We had, we did everything. And then everybody around us seen us, and they're like, hey, I see you're raising all these animals. Can we get some of your meat? And then we ended up going big enough that we could sell it. And blah, blah, blah. And I will tell you, that's all well and good, but I never liked taking my animals off the farm because that is super stressful on them, trailering them. And you have to, around here, you've got to trailer for at least an hour to a USDA butcher. So it's terrible on the animals. It's hard on us, because we were raising them from babies, out there, and we raised our pigs out here in the woods, So, we'd be out here in the rain with them, birthing, the whole 9 yards. We had cows, milk cows, beef cows. We had it all. Kind of scaled back. Now we're into the goats. But I do think we're going to, for next year, we do plan on bringing in, trying to buy like yearling cows and raise them up and through the spring, summer, first part of winter, butcher, do the same thing every year. Because beef is just out of control. And now they're shipping and the USDA is letting them do it. They're shipping cows from South America and Central America that have the screwworm in it, which is going to just wipe out the cattle industry in the United States. So that's why we homestead. Good food, whole food, and yeah, there's stress involved with everything. I mean, you get stressed when you got babies, and you got stress when you have to, you have to process your stuff. But it's all part of the life, and I'd much rather be stressed about getting my hay in than stressed about having some guy breathing over my neck because I have a deadline for some project or something. So yeah. So anyways, you're going to have your struggles no matter what. But our struggles here, we have a sick animal, or we have to butcher an animal, or it's going to rain on my hay, or I have a breakdown. There's always struggles. And I think you see that on my channel. I know a lot of these homesteading channels, some of them have gone completely off the rails. I don't even know what they talk about anymore. It's just more like a daily news brief, some of those the channels now. And then there's a couple channels out there that they call themselves homesteaders, but all they are is content creators, trying to get the next product to shove in front of your face. So I try to show you what real homesteading is like, and it's not all glamour, and that's probably why I don't have the views that everybody else does. That, because I do show real life. But it's all worth it in the end, because I know where my food's coming from. I know what's going into it. I know when I sit down to eat at night, I appreciate my food like no other, and it tastes better. And I know that the animal has lived a nice quality life on this farm. And I know it's not going to be a detriment to my health by eating it. So, and when I lay my head down at night, most of the time, I'm out because I am physically exhausted. So I really think, homesteading is a big thing right now, and I believe, if you're not doing it and you're considering it, you should jump into it. It's not for everybody. If you like the convenience of your stores and the convenience of, I don't know, being close to stuff. I mean, some homesteaders, they can homestead close. I like to be out like this. Although, technically, I'm like 20 minutes from a Walmart. So, It's not that far, but there's no traffic to get there. I can tell you that. So, you're your own boss. You really truly are your own boss. But it can be frustrating, especially if you're trying to make a living from it. And I think a lot of homestead channels don't show that. They show all the good stuff. There's a lot of if you're truly homesteading, then you know what I'm talking about. And it's you have to juggle the bills some months. So, but it's a peace of mind. I have my daughter and my grandsons are living here on the farm now, and kind of like a compound, right? But yeah, I truly think it's a great way of life. And if nothing else, man, you'll learn some skills that you never ever dreamed you would, like tearing into this dude, and timber frame rabbit hutches, and sawing logs, and cutting trees, and all kinds of stuff. You can become an overnight sensation in the carpentry world. So it's a fabricator when you have to fabricate. So you really become a jack of all trades. Make a lot of mistakes, but that's always fun when you make a mistake and then you look at you can only look at yourself, right? I did that today. I put the alternator on, and I put the alternator on the wrong side of the bracket, and I was like, well, that ain't right. So I had to take the belt back off, or if I could have started the motor, it would have peeled the belt off really fast. And yeah, so I've taken this thing apart several times, put it back together too. This is one that hit the tree going backwards. So anyways, I'm done yapping. So if you're considering doing homesteading, I would definitely jump in with both feet. Holy smokes, I don't have the brake on. Good, see? I'm worried about doing a video and I don't have the brake on. This thing rolls away and smashes. The other one, my orange one, is down for the count right now. Has been. Haven't had a chance to look at it. But I guess I'm going to be a Kubota expert when I'm done with all this stuff. But anyways, yeah, peace of mind, health, be your own boss, skills that you never thought you'd do before. Before I did this, I never even thought about making hay. Now I'm a hay expert, or so I think I am. Oh, so now I'm going to be a forestry guy, but I see several cherry trees in here that need to go. Man, these freaking flies. Yeah, I see one right there, that one. There's one down in there. So that'll give some light to some of these sugar maples, because this is a great place to make maple syrup. And I have several beautiful poplars that could probably stand to be harvested. So got a lot to do here, and winter's coming. I mean, honestly, it's July the 10th, 11th, something like that, and I'm already thinking about July, or about winter. So all right, I'm gonna shut up now, and it looks like it's getting dark again on me. Well, I'm gonna be up here probably tomorrow or the next day, knocking some trees down, getting some saw logs, because I'd like to build permanent structure over my sawmill, and I have a couple ideas for some goat feeders and some stuff like that. So all right, thanks for watching. And like I said, if you're thinking about homesteading, Do it. Find you a piece of ground. It doesn't have to be, 100 acres, but I wouldn't say more is the merrier, but 50 to 100 acres is, you can raise a lot of animals. We don't do gardening, so I don't have to worry about trying to do gardening. But yeah, the more ground you have, the better you can raise animals, because that's where honestly, that's the most bang for your buck for food, is protein. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Peace out.